Oh, that's not right. What happened? Oh, it's right here. Huh. Hi folks, 9toenelson here, and it is an early morning, and it is freaking cold outside. When I got up, it was 2 degrees. I have no clue at this moment what the wind chill might be, and I am on my way to work. It's currently 3 degrees. You can see that right there. And as I say, I'm on my way to work because I gotta make money to pay for all this stuff. You know, food, gas, roof over my head, heat, you know, comforts of a home that you supply for your family. So, unfortunately, the wife needed the car today, and it doesn't change the fact that I have to go to work. Fortunately, I have my heated gear, which at this moment is doing very well. Not perfect, you know, I can kind of feel a little draft somewhere. You know, I've got a cold spot here or there. Last time I rode in the cold this season, which was a week and a half or so ago, my toes were suffering. Not exactly sure if it was a problem with the heated gear or it was just enough airflow getting to them to make the difference. So today I threw on an extra pair of socks over the heated socks, which are over my regular socks for the day. I'm also wearing slightly thicker cotton socks as opposed to what I had on before. But hey, besides that, I'm doing just fine. It's the holiday season, as you may be able to tell by my decorations on the ST here. I'm not sure if you can see them clearly, but by the time I get this video edited, I'm sure I'll have a good photo of it, and I'll throw that in here. With that said, let's think about what I can talk about right now, which should be obvious. It's freaking cold and I'm riding a motorcycle in the Midwest. Thankfully, it's not snowing. There hasn't been any precipitation of any significance since the cold snap hit. So I feel that I'm safe to ride. There's no salt on the ground. There was a little spread in a couple spots, but pretty sure that's all dissipated and not an issue at the moment. So that won't be eating away at the aluminum on this. You know, I never thought of doing a tip for winter riders because I never thought I would be out at a temperature that would be this low. My record before this, I think it was 12. So something for me to be proud of, right? So yeah, what kind of things do I need to look out for riding in this type of environment? Besides what was obviously already mentioned, the fact that it's cold, still, it's going to have an impact on my contact patch with the road, because cold rubber gets hard. Even though I have multi-compound tires on this, and the distance that I am traveling is certainly enough to warm them up, the environment as a whole, in combination with the cold pavement, is going to keep that temperature lower than Hi folks, 9toenelson here, and I'm back for my trip home from work today. Now, I tried recording this morning on the way into work when it was 3 degrees, And I have a feeling it didn't all turn out. I think my helmet camera gave out part way. So I'm gonna have to review that when I get home, and we'll find out what happened. So if it did, I'm sorry. If it didn't, that's great. And I'm gonna be skipping a good part of what I'm recording right now. Because what I'm gonna try to do is recap what it was I was talking about, which was riding in extremely cold temperatures. Now, I made a video like that as one of my very first videos, and it wasn't as cold that day as it is now, or this morning. So I didn't have all of the same factors to consider, and one of those major factors to consider was the pavement was so cold that traction was a concern. There wasn't any condensation or humidity to be concerned about. The chance of rain or any sort of precipitation was like 3% at its worst. But I had to worry about ice that would develop in the areas of intersections where traffic would be stopped, and the condensation that would build up in the exhaust would then spill out onto the road. So something to look out for if you're ever in that situation. That's one thing. Other things, of course, would include slippery paint for the traffic lane lines. I guess they could be expected to get slick. They weren't all that way, but I experienced at least one that was. Maybe there was some ice that formed on there that I didn't see, who knows. Of course, black ice, but again, you need precipitation for that. And just the plain fact that the pavement would not allow the tires to reach their optimum temperature. The contact patch that our tires have is so small, and the surface area that's being hit by the wind is so great. I don't know the science of it all, but I'm certain that it would make the ability to warm up to optimum temperature very difficult. So when you've got cold rubber on cold pavement, be it asphalt or concrete, you have reduced traction regardless of what kind of tires you're riding. And I am riding multi-compound tires here. There's no way that I would trust them to be as grippy in the same scenario in these cold temperatures. Thank you, sir. So there's a couple of factors to consider with regards to what to keep an eye out for that you wouldn't necessarily expect and certainly wouldn't see. Speaking of seeing, having a pin lock or other type of interior lens for insulation is always a great idea. They are not perfect. I don't know if you can see now, but I am getting some condensation inside of mine. I think it's because I'm a lot warmer than I need to be, and the heat is getting trapped in here. But if I didn't have this, I'd be blind right now. Definitely something to consider and something to maintain, because they do sometimes develop a leak where the insulation will fail and you end up having your vision obscured by all the condensation. Of course, you can always crack your visor a bit and let some ventilation come through, but when the temperatures get as cold as they were, that's not always a good idea. Frostbite on your face, I'm sure, is very uncomfortable. So what else to consider? Well, I think I've discussed before electric gear, heated gear. I have that on. I stay pretty toasty with it. As long as I don't get too hot, things are good. If I do, you know, I can turn the temperature down. I can start to open up some ventilation, do some things that would help keep me from sweating, because that would be a bad thing. once the cold hits the sweat, that could start to freeze, if not definitely lower your body temperature, which you don't want to do. But good set of gloves, in addition to hand warmers, heated grips. I don't care for those. They don't really make sense to me to keep your palms warm, but the rest of your hand that is exposed to the elements is still cold. It has no heating element to help it. If you want to combine the two, great, but heated grips alone, I don't think that would suffice or really do much for you, especially not in the conditions I was riding in this morning. Think ahead, plan ahead. If you've got a trip that's long, plan to make some stops. The cold will fatigue you, and will certainly overcome the heated aspects of your gear and your body in time. You are not going to go for too long without having a break to revitalize your limbs, your extremities. They will get cold. My fingertips, my toes, they were freezing this morning, all 9 of them. And if I had to travel an additional 10 minutes from my final destination, an additional 10 minutes further, I would have decided to stop because I was at my limit. Definitely take the time to plan that time into your travel. It will be worth it. The other factor that I didn't even mention this morning that I should have is traffic. People do not at all expect to see a motorcycle out in this weather, and I don't blame them. It's highly unusual, although I did see one other rider today. He's actually a regular commuter as well. I see him all the time, but I don't think he commutes as far as I do. Regardless, you gotta really have your head on a swivel. As a result, it will never surprise me that someone would claim they didn't see me or didn't know I was there. They're just not looking. So you've got to do the looking for them. And no matter what you put on your bike, lights, sirens, alarms, waving arms, it's going to not be enough to get someone's attention. I forgot it was Friday. Traffic sucks. Gotta crack my visor a bit here because I am getting quite foggy in this thing. I will say that 20 degrees makes a huge difference. I have my heated gear set at on. In other words, between a setting of 0 to 11, 0 being off and 11 being, 11.
These go to 11.
I have it at 1. I just turned it on and I am a little sweaty, and obviously that's affecting my visor here. I should probably consider turning it off. Oh, I just realized I only have 1 on, which was just my gloves. Gloves and toes, socks. And I'm doing fine. I just turned the jacket on, and let's see if that's going to do anything for me. But this morning was dark, it was cloudy. Got some sunshine, breaks in the clouds. 20 some degrees right now. I think it's like 26. I'm happy with that. Sorry, the scenery is extremely dull at the moment. My commute is not very exciting, especially when I take the more direct route, which I am doing today. Most excitement I've had coming through here lately was getting attacked by a facehugger maple leaf right up here. That sure was funny. Hope that doesn't happen again. I think they live over in that clump of trees. yeah, one other thing that I had mentioned this morning as a little tip for riding in such cold weather. If you get the chance to get behind something that's large enough to block the wind for you, take advantage of it. Get behind a semi, a large van, give yourself some wind protection. It's not only going to keep you warm, it's going to help your miles per gallon. Supposedly the weather's going to improve for the next couple of days, and when I say improve, I only mean in temperature. It's supposed to go up maybe up to 50. But I believe it's bringing some rain with it, which hopefully will evaporate quickly. Doubt that it will, because it's cold and I do not want to form into ice, because I would like to continue riding as long as I can. Today was a bit of an exception. I didn't necessarily want to ride, I was willing, but I had to. My wife needed the car, and we only have one car at the moment because I have 3 motorcycles and 2 scooters, and that's the compromise I make. If things were severe, I would either have the car made available or I would be taxied somewhere by my loving wife. But I hate to bother her with that if it's not necessary. By the way, I hope you can see them. My lovely holiday lights that I have draped along the ST here. This camera in back is hopefully capturing them. I adjusted the angle with hopes that it would. If it worked out, I'll be happy to share the images with you guys. I got a wave there. Actually a thumbs up, but same thing. Maybe for the lights, maybe for the fact that I'm riding, who knows? But regardless, I always appreciate appreciation. Now I've got this on full blast because I am starting to feel. Haha! No wonder I'm not plugged in. Wow, I got pretty far without any electricity. I'm impressed. Well, don't know how I missed that. I did get off the bike at one point, but I thought I plugged back in when I did. There we go. That should help. Let's try this again. No wonder I kept getting progressively colder. Because I was getting progressively colder. I can be an idiot at times. My wife will attest to that. Alright, I'm going to crank these since I'm definitely below where I would like to be. Ah, there it goes. Now I'm feeling it. That's much better. I'm surprised my toes aren't little popsicles at this moment. So there's another tip for you. If you are using heated gear, make sure it's plugged in. Whether it's to the bike or the battery that it's connected to, or supposed to be connected to, make sure you've got that thing connected. It's definitely starting to get a little darker. It's that time of day. The clouds aren't helping. But my lights shine a little brighter as a result. That's nice. Right now I'm actually having a question in my mind as to whether or not I want to go the efficient way, which takes me through a roundabout, or the longer way, less efficient I should say. It's not really longer, not distance-wise I would say. And the reason I'm questioning it is because the roundabout, at least in the morning, when the temperature is rising, can get a bit slick, a little icy. It wasn't that way this morning when I came through it, so I'm assuming it's not that way now, but part of the issue is when traffic travels over it with its warm tires on the cold pavement, it does leave some condensation and you do get some slick spots, some black ice. I think gonna chance it. So you can see the trails of fluid here. Gotta watch out for that. That could be freezing. It's been a long day and it's not over yet. It'll be nice to get home and get out of the cold for a few minutes before I have to go back out and take care of some errands. Here's the roundabout I was discussing. It looks very clear. But you see there, that's what I'm talking about. Gotta keep an eye out for that. Alright guys, I haven't got much more to share. Look at that, that's nice. So, thanks for coming along. I hope my little tidbits of information were useful and can benefit you. I think it's always nice to gain some knowledge from someone who has some experience, which, not through everything, but I have quite a bit. So as I say that, I will say now, as I always do at the end of all my videos, please remember to ride safe, ride smart, and have fun. Bye. Yeah, it broke right there. How disappointing. But maybe, just maybe I can repair it.